Alright guys, how's it going? Been a while since I did a video. I've been wanting to do a update on the RV solar system, as you could probably tell from the title, and I've pretty much got it to a point that it's, I believe, everything that I'm going to need, but I may add some possible battery bank or panels in the future. We'll see how it goes. But for the money that I have invested into this system, I think I've got a really good balanced setup, which gives me a lot of features and options that more expensive setups have. So let's start with the where the power comes in, and we'll work our way down to the whole system. Climb up the back here. All right, right now the AC is currently running off of battery power. We're not plugged into anything right now. This is what I have for now for solar panels. I've got 4 of these Renogy 100 watt panels. These are the smaller version, or compact size, I think they call them. They had 2 different versions. I believe these are the newer, more updated. I have these wired in series, which basically means that the positive of one connects to the negative of the other. So all of these go right down into this vent cavity with these 2 wires here, and it's all sealed up, as you can see. Like I said, positive to negative, and it just creates like a loop of panels. And that ultimately brings it up to like 60 something volts, I think it is. And I have a 60 amp up to 100 volt AMPINVT Renogy solar, the hell is it called? Converter? Solar converter? Solar charger? Whatever it is. But so I started out with buying 1 panel and the 60 amp controller, the AMPINVT, because I knew that I was going to expand in the future. So that's why I got the larger 60 amp version. They have a 10, a 20, a 30, 40, and I believe a 60. They might have a 50. I'm not sure, but they probably even go up from there. But I got the biggest one that was in that that size, or that format. So that's what we got for solar panels up here. These are about $100 a piece. So far we got $400 invested into the system here. Also, I was able to just use all of the wiring that came with the solar panels and the controller. I did not purchase any extra connectors or wiring. They all was able to reach. As you can see, this, the way I have them laid out is a little bit off. I'm sure if I had all 4 of these panels at the same time, I probably would have laid them out more symmetrical. But I started out with the 1 that I had here, and then I added 1, you know, basically keeping them within wire distance. I didn't have much choice, so I went there, and then I figured I'd probably add 1 more over there across from that, and that would make this triangle. But I jumped up and added 2 more, so I kind of had to make those fit in that area. So no big deal. It's the top of the camper, you know. They're all somewhat on the same plane, so we're good to go. And so far they're working out really well. So that's what we got on top of the camper. Let's go down to the charger now. All right, down here in the front bay of my 5th wheel, I have eliminated the original lead acid battery that was mounted in here. It was in a battery box. Hopefully this camera adjusts. Yeah, there it goes. There was a battery box with a vent that came up and goes right out here. I've eliminated that, and I've relocated the battery. I'm using lithium ion batteries. And some of these decisions and the way this was laid out was kind of because I took it 1 step at a time and didn't really think of the end plan. But I'm actually pretty happy with it, and I'll show you one of the weird things that I have set up here. So here's our charge controller. Oh, 40 amp, I said 60 amp. So this goes up to 100 volts it'll handle, or 40 amps. Of charging. So right now, it's not very sunny out, so the panels are barely putting out, but yeah, 66, I don't know if you can see that, yeah, 66 volts, 67 volts is about what the panels go out at, and right now I'm only bringing in like 7 amps. On a sunny day, you know, full sun day, this brings right up to about 22 amps of charging power, 22 amps into the lithium ion batteries. So anyways, in here, I've got, put a picture of it up on the screen here. I got this off of Amazon. It was a lot less than the Victron unit that's like $100 or $200, very expensive. I think this was like 50 bucks or whatever it was, but this was my first power meter, just to be able to tell how much power is going in and out. This you're gonna want connected right at the battery, and this used to be connected right at the battery when I had my lead acid battery here, but I've since relocated that. And since I already had my solar wires from the solar panels running straight down and all of this all set up, what I ended up doing is relocating my battery and the everything else that I have to the back of the unit, and I was able to use this existing wiring that used to feed the fuse panel that is now taking, this is basically the power that's going back, our positive and negative, from the charge controller, and it's all of you know, sufficient diameter to handle what this charge controller can output at its max, or if I was to add a few more panels. Right now, like I said, I've got 400 watts. So the panels are going down into this charge controller. This is fused also, just to eliminate an issue. This is 50 amp fuse. This will never go over 40 amps anyways, so this is just a fail safe. And what I'm using this power meter for right now is basically an extension of this screen. Now they make a separate panel. I believe they have a Bluetooth adapter, yeah, the BT1 I think it is, that you can hook up to this, that'll give you the stats and stuff, but I really didn't care about that too much. There's not really, once you set this up, there's really no need to do anything to it. I've got it set up, I got it as a 12 volt system. I've got it set up for my lithium ion batteries. It's in MPPT mode. All you really need to know is, you know, out of curiosity, is how much, you know, how much it's actually putting into the batteries, which is this figure right here. Okay, so by me putting this power meter first from this charger before it goes into the batteries, all this is monitoring is just what this unit, what the solar panel is adding to my battery bank. This isn't going to give me any other measurements of how much battery I have left or anything like that. So I literally, I already had it in place and it was already wired, so I said, well, why not hook it in, and that'll at least give me an idea, so I know on a sunny day, or if I'm parked in an area that might be shady, I can kind of, without having to come out here and look at this screen and not have to buy the Bluetooth adapter that doesn't even work that well. I've got a screen on the inside where I can keep an eye on how much I'm actually charging on the sun. So that's all that's for, is that. I also have another power meter you'll see inside that tells us how much battery power we have left as well. Okay, going to the back. Well, this is where I ended up mounting all of my battery and gear. And I went with a inexpensive, if there's such a thing, lithium ion 200 amp hour battery, which I will have pictures and links to all these things that I bought with prices, in case you're interested. Let me get a light on here. But this is the unit that I have. 200 amp hour, 12 volt battery. I believe this was $7.99 with, you know, it was a sale or a coupon or whatever on Amazon. I was going to buy two separate 100 amp hour ones, but I figured less wiring and less to worry about, just have the 200 amp itself. I may add some more battery power in the future, but 200 amp hours with lithium ion allows you to use pretty much all of that 200 amp hours, whereas lead acid batteries, you can only use 50%. And then you'd want to recharge, otherwise you'll damage your batteries. So this would basically be the same as taking 4 deep cycle 100 amp hour batteries. That would equal 400 amp hours, which you could only use 50% of, so that would be 200 amp hours. So that alone would cost you $400, you know, $400 plus to buy those type of batteries. This was, you know, 80% more than that, but the longevity, these batteries can last 10, 15, even longer, possibly years, as long as you don't try to charge them when it's freezing temperatures, and they can be mounted anywhere. There's no fluids, you know, no maintenance, no nothing. Really good battery so far. I've been pretty happy with that. and I decided to go with this inverter, that it's a combination inverter, and it's also a switch to switch between your line power, your shore power or generator power, and battery power to AC inside. So basically all of my plugs and everything inside the camper that are already wired as if you were plugged into shore power work, whether we're on battery power or a generator or shore power. And this automatically switches over and senses if I plug the you know, the shore wire cable that you would plug in when you go to a campsite or if you're at a house. If I plug that in, it automatically shuts this inverter off and switches over to that power. And this unit will also charge the lithium ion battery up to 60 amps in power, you know, on the generator or shore power. So it's a really nice unit. It's seemed to have really good reviews. This is the 3000 watt inverter and 60 amp charging power, like I said, that it has. And I also bought the remote. You'll see this LAN wire here. I've got the remote panel, which is basically this panel with the buttons on it to turn it on and off and to change settings inside, so I can shut the inverter on or off as I want. And as you can see, I've got it all properly wired with the 0 gauge here wire. This is a 500 amp fuse. They say you want, I think it's a 400 amp. And I've got a spare fuse taped right here in case I was to blow that and I needed a spare. And then up there is my Renogy battery monitor, which is similar to the one that I showed you over by the solar controller. But this one is actually right at the beginning of the battery where it should be, and is going to monitor properly all of the input and output to the battery on that screen. So $7.99. I believe this was $6.99 in that area. Again, it's a 3000 watt power inverter, which is enough to run. Right now I'm running the air conditioning, which you could only run on a 200 amp hour battery for about an hour and a half or so, depending on the sun that's coming in at the time. But I'm doing it right now basically just to put a drawer on this battery and bring it down and kind of cycle through and let it charge and see how long it takes to recharge it. So I do have the air conditioning on inside. It's been on for about 20 minutes now, so it should be nice and cool when I go inside. And right now it's running, my roof unit is running off that 200 amp hour battery. You know, again, I couldn't run it too long, but I can run anything in this trailer as I was plugged into shore power through this battery with this inverter. And like I said, it automatically switches over when I plug in. So let's go on the inside and I'll show you the panels I have set up in here. Ooh, nice in here. Okay. Got it set on 65. I don't know what temperature it is now, but it's definitely cool. Here's our battery stats right now. Yeah, we've got about an hour and 7 minutes left at this capacity of discharge. So we got 69% of my battery left. And this is the unit right here that I put in the wall, and here is the auxiliary panel for the inverter right there. As you can see, what I think I might do is actually I can just hang a picture here if I want. I was thinking about maybe putting a picture on some hinges, so you could hinge open the picture and close the picture and you really wouldn't even see these. That was kind of my idea with putting them there. And they're also right next to the fuse panel, so all the wiring, and I have my access to battery disconnect and everything right through here. This is the other area where we just were, and here's the other side of the battery. So in this camper, that worked out really well to have everything in that area. I would have liked to have the charge controller in that area as well, but like I said, I already had the wiring run down. It actually goes inside of here. This is where that pipe was. It goes down into the basement area down here, and I was able to access it through this panel, which was nice. So left that light on. Okay, so what we have here, I'm going to shut this off and show you how I have everything set up. All right, for right now, we're going to shut the air conditioning off. As you can see, I'm running AC power right now. We've got the microwave operational because the inverter is on. Okay, so right now I'm going to shut the inverter down. Okay, so right now, of course, it's very cloudy. I was hoping to do this on a sunny day, but this is the other battery monitor that I have connected right here. This is the one that you saw at the beginning where the battery's up in the front. And all this is telling me is how much my solar panels is charging, literally. If this is blinking, that means I'm positive and it's giving me a charge. Right now, it's giving 0.1 amps in from the sun. So it's very cloudy out and overcast. So basically, we're getting no solar help at this particular time. Now we've got 68% left in our battery. I just killed, 70% or 30% of that battery running the air conditioner for the last half hour, as you would imagine. So anytime you run any type of power or anything, this is going to tell us, how much we have left as far as time. The way this works right now, this whole panel and this inverter is shut down. If I went and plugged into shore power, this would automatically bypass and basically wouldn't be used at all, and you'd have all your plugs and your microwave and your air conditioner and everything working like it should be in shore power. Okay, but if you unplug that shore power, this automatically switches over in like a millisecond, so you don't even notice it, and switches over to the battery power and the inverter, and keeps everything operational inside the unit, which is really nice. And then so my biggest plan is not really to plug and unplug to go back and forth with the inverter. The inverter is great to have when you're boondocking, but what I do have is my 3500 Predator generator. And I don't know if you saw one of my previous videos, but I've got a remote start set up on it. It's not here right now where I demonstrate it, but basically A is to start it and B is to shut it off. So what I could do is I could be boondocked in the sun, charging the battery, and using everything in the coach as normal as if I was plugged in. If it gets to the point where my battery gets down to, 20% or whatever, and I'm worried about it, I can simply walk over here, hit the A button to start up my generator. That will automatically switch this over and start charging my battery, and also bypass the inverter and have everything running right off of the generator instead of the inverter. So that allows me to 60 amp fast charge my batteries back up, which should only take like 4 hours from 0 to 100 with a 200 amp hour battery. And allow me to run everything as I'm doing that off of the generator wherever I am. So fire our air conditioner back up. And just so you know, I don't have the easy start unit for the air conditioner. A lot of people buy those. I think they're like $300-400 or whatever. I think it's basically just a big capacitor that allows you to start your air conditioner a little easier with less power and a smaller inverter. That was one of the reasons I went with the 3,000 watt inverter, because it runs everything. I wouldn't want to try to run the it probably would work, but I wouldn't do it run the AC and the microwave at the same time. But I am able to use the air conditioning in short bursts to just take that, if you're away from your camper all day, you come in and it's 100 degrees in here, you open up your windows, let it cool down a little bit, crank up the AC for a half an hour to get it, to cool down, and then you can shut it off and run some fans to maintain a nice cool temperature, which is the plan. So, but right now with the air conditioning running, this is telling me basically I have an hour and 13 minutes before my battery would be down to 0. So to give you an idea, obviously I wouldn't want to run the air conditioner too long. I kind of set up a little desk area in this bedroom, which I basically found this chair on Amazon that is a folding chair. It folds up to almost nothing, so I can stick it out of the way. And then I've got these are shelves that were already here. They fold down and this one pops off. That were already in the camper. They were just mounted somewhere else. I put them together to make kind of like a little desk area, and I'm able to flip up the bed with the shock system. You know, just pulls down, automatically goes up, and basically converts this room to a little office area. But I got this chair. It is one of those massaging heat chairs, you know, with all your functions and stuff on it. Not that I'm going to use that much, but it was more that it was a good folding leather chair with armrests, which would be comfortable for being on the computer for a long amount of time. But I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And we're going to fire this up. Let's do demo mode. You can see it's got the little heating massagers in it. Now that's running off AC power right now, which I don't think it's that much of a draw. So that's basically drawing about 9 amps. Oh, actually no. It's still charging because it's blinking. That means we're still adding. Wow. Oh, that's because we got 13 amps right now coming in from the sun. All right, so 13 amps coming in from the sun, which means we're adding now about 10 amps. So about 3 amps of power that chair is drawing. So I could run that chair for a long time on that 200 amp hour battery. Shut that off and unplug it. But yeah, I'll show you quickly if anybody's interested in this chair. Maybe I'll throw a link up and show you the one that I bought. Let me just set you up here. I'll show you how I have this. So we can basically just fold it up like any other chair, so it's nice and thin. We can stick it down there in our little cubby. Okay, and then this is just your standard pop-up shelf. And this one just has those couple little clips on it right here. Again, this was in the camper, just has this little fold-down leg. Okay, and that can go right out of the way, or actually a good place to store it would be right under the bed. Okay, and now we can flip the bed down. I have a new mattress on its way. This is the, I don't know if, oh, Serta, I don't know if this is the original mattress or not, but I've got a really nice RV, the short queen, because this is the full-size queen, so it overlaps an extra 6 inches farther than it should. So I have that coming. Should have that by next week, I think, which would be another thing I'll probably throw up in the channel and show you which one I went with. But it's supposed to be really super comfortable. I think it was around $500 for the mattress, but I am not sleeping on this. This is actually better than a lot of RV mattresses, I think, that they usually just come with, but I'm not sleeping on a used mattress. This was what was in it when I bought it. So, but that's why it's folded up in the back, because this is too long. But as you can see, I just converted it back to a bedroom. You know, the chair's out of the way. You know, and all I got to do is flip that up, take that shelf, pop it right there, flip that up. It's got the brackets underneath here, and unfold this chair, and I got myself a little computer area. So that's the idea. And I've got plugs right here, so I'll be able to run any computer. I'm going to put a monitor in here. The monitor will be combination computer monitor / TV for the bedroom. And that's what I plan to do with that. So I've actually got myself a cable wire. I've got 12 volt right here, and power. So everything I need is right here. Everything I could possibly need as far as that goes. I don't know if I showed you guys this shower curtain rod. Basically pops out to give you that little extra room when you're in the shower. And it also flips in, so when you're not using the shower, you have more room in the toilet area, or when you are in the shower, it just gives you that extra like 4 or 6 inches inside where your arms don't hit the side of the... Another thing I picked up on Amazon, just screws right on. Really easy to install. I'll throw a link down in the description for that as well if you're interested. I still need to upgrade my shower head. I've just got this unit right here, which I think is the one that came in it. I think it's the, I forgot what the name of the one that everybody uses, but got my fantastic fan. These things are great. All right. So yeah, we already gained a percentage just in the time we've been here with barely any sun. So if it was full sun right now, it would take me about an hour to regain that power that we used. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down our inverter and let that charge back up. All right, hopefully you got a little information. If anybody had any questions down in the comments, I'd be happy to answer them. This is just my setup. There's a million different ways to run solar setups and power systems and campers. This is just the system that I ended up with, and for the total amount invested, I think I did really well, and pretty much allows me to go wherever I need to and have that sufficient power that I'm going to need, or you know, that most people would need just to run your computers and laptops and whatnot, and your basic needs. So like I said, I could always add some more panels, which will give me the recharge power, faster recharge power, or add more lithium batteries to my battery bank of 200 amp hours. I could bring up 3, 4, you know, 6, 8, whatever I need, which is basically just the time, the reserve power that you store to be able to use when the sun's not out and overnight. So right now I'm basically at the bare minimums to be able to, you know, to get by. I think I'm going to be pretty good with what I have, but I may add some in the future. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of addicting. The more you do, they all kind of complement each other and everything works a little bit better together. You know, the battery recharges faster and everything just kind of works better. But I've been really happy with this fifth wheel camper too, as far as towing it. It's so much easier to tow than a bumper pull unit. The overall, you know, you get a bigger trailer and a shorter footprint too, because you basically, you know, got about 6 feet or so that you're basically moving the camper to over top of the truck, as opposed to stretch out 4 or 5 feet behind it. So your overall length with the truck and the trailer connected is shorter, which just allows you to get into better places. And you know, going down the highway, as far as sway goes and over bumps, it behaves way